Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's proclaimed the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with Jay Dash. We're going to talk some Bucko baseball for you. This could be one of our last regular season Bucko segments of the year. How many games left, Dash? 6?
7 games left.
7 games. Well, the Buccos are making a push. They beat the Cubs today, correct?
Beat the Cubs 4-0.
All right, so that puts them in good position to secure that home wild card spot.
Definitely.
Mathematically, yes, there is still a chance to catch the Cardinals. In your heart, I know you think they still have a chance to catch the Cardinals.
I don't think they have a chance. I think they are going to.
But it's probably going to be St. Louis, then Pittsburgh,
Get that,
then Chicago. Just like we said, those 3 teams were going to make it, 3 weeks ago? We said it was going to be those teams.
Please believe. But the Buccos, they still have a chance at 100 wins. They're sitting at 95-60 right now. They'd have to go 5-2 the rest of the season.
I got a chance at winning $1 million lottery ticket, too. That don't mean it's going to happen.
Well, listen, 5-2. You don't think they can go 5-2 in the last 7 games of the season?
No. They play the Cardinals 3 times, so they're going to lose 3 games.
See, there you go again. Look, they won their past 8 games.
Well, that just
you don't
means
think they
they're
can
gonna
go
lose
5-2 over 7?
No, because they're not going to go 13-2 over their last 15 games.
Well, you said that they were out of it before, and you said the only way they could stay in it is with something like a 5-game win streak, and here they are on an 8-game win streak. So why not 5-2? But look, these 95 wins, it's the most they've had since 1992, and they haven't won more than 98 games since 1909 when they went 110-42 in 152
Yeah, see, it's been
games.
100 freaking years since they won 100 games, so that's why I don't think they're going to do it.
That has nothing to do with it. Who was on their team in 1909? Let me ask you that, because I don't even know.
Ty Cobb's great-grandfather, Burl Cobb.
Anyways, look, on this 10-game homestand, they're through 9 games, and they're 8-1 in that stretch so far. They beat 2 good lefties, including Clayton Kershaw and John Lester. Now, they only won both those games 3-2. It wasn't like they lit them up or anything, but it's nice to see that they can beat the lefty, some of the best lefties in the league. But let's remember, if they go into that 1-game wild card, they're going to be facing a righty, correct? In Jake Arrieta. You'd have to think so anyways. Now, look, if they would win that game, this is all hypothetical because I think they're going to win the division anyways, but let's say they win that wild card versus the Cubs. Then they go into St. Louis. Now, they have Lackey, Walker, Martinez, and Lynn are all righties. Their one lefty is Jaime Garcia. Now, I don't know how much he's going to pitch in the playoffs. He's had a very good season. I don't know. I really don't know how the Cardinals are going to stack up their rotation in the playoffs. I'd have to think they're going to pitch Lackey because he's probably pitched the best out of them all recently. Walker, he's got lit up a little bit, but I'm guessing they're going to pitch him because he has been their best pitcher over the course of the season. Now, Carlos Martinez, I thought they were going to pitch. He actually got pulled after a third of an inning yesterday with tightness in his shoulder. So we'll have to see if he is ready for his final start of the season here in the regular season and he's going to pitch in the playoffs. I'd have to believe he's going to be okay. So you're going to see those 3. I don't know if they're going to pitch Lynn or not. I don't know how much they're going to pitch Jaime Garcia. I doubt they pitch Jaime Garcia in the first game of that series or something like that. But he has pitched well against Pittsburgh this year. Just 1 start, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 9 Ks. So he shut him down. Now, would they actually go out and pitch him in the first game of that series so he could pitch twice in that series, or he could even pitch in a second game and pitch twice in that series probably. But I don't know if they're going to do that or not. They might wait until the 3rd or 4th start to pitch Garcia, so we'll have to see how that turns out. But there's also the possibility of Wainwright. He's expected to be used out of the bullpen in the coming days. I don't know if they're going to start him in the playoffs or not. We'll have to see how that goes. But you might see him out of the bullpen in this series coming up with St. Louis. And then, let's not forget, Yadier Molina has a slight ligament tear in his left thumb, and he's going to be reevaluated soon. We'll have to see if he's going to be healthy. Because
so he's not going to be giving us any thumbs up lately?
Apparently not.
No.
Look, this pitching staff is not as good when Yadier Molina is not behind the plate. I think I've seen something like they give up more than 1 earned run per game, more when Molina is not behind the plate. So they need to get him back healthy as well. But I really don't see Pittsburgh facing too many lefties early in the playoffs until maybe the NLCS when they'd possibly face the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw. But like I said, they just went out and beat Kershaw, gave him his first loss since the All-Star break, actually. But look, the Cardinals are 97-57 right now. The Pirates, as of right now, are 2.5 games back. The Cardinals have yet to play today. So if the Cardinals lose tonight and both teams would win tomorrow or something, the Pirates won't even have to go in and sweep that series, actually. They could win 2 of 3 and just be a game back with 1 series left. And there's definitely a possibility they could go out and sweep the Reds, or maybe the Cardinals don't win in Atlanta that last series of the season. Maybe they lose 2 games. Who knows?
I'm hearing a lot of ifs and a lot of coulds.
Well, yeah, you said that at the beginning of the season, too, about this team.
And I predicted them to finish in 3rd, and there's still a chance they could.
You said they weren't going to be any good, though. They're almost at 100 wins right now, man.
Hey, I still almost predicted right 3rd place. I picked the Cardinals to win the division. I'm going to be right about that.
Possibly. We'll have to see, man. But look, they have a 5.5 game lead on the Cubs right now for the top wild card spot, too. So if they beat the Cubs tomorrow, there is no chance for the Pirates to finish in 3rd place.
Well, the Pirates are going to go on a 5-game losing streak, and the Cubs are going to win out. Why can't that happen? Well, if they can win 5 of 2, why couldn't they go 2 and 5?
Because they're a good team and they're not going to do it. They've been winning. They're the hottest team in baseball right now.
Well, it just means they're going to come down from that high cloud sometime.
It's right where you want to be heading into the playoffs, let me tell you that. But they have 1 game remaining with the Cubs, like I was saying. If they do lose, they'll be 4.5 games up on the Cubs at that point.
And then they lose 3 to the Cards.
6. Get out of here with that. But look, win this game tomorrow, you got the first wild card locked up. You lose the game, there's still a good chance you're going to be the first wild card. Just makes it a little tougher to overtake the Cardinals at that point. And tomorrow, that game, it is a primetime game, and it's Jake Arrieta versus A.J. Burnett. Now, A.J. Burnett might have to pitch well to grab hold of that 3rd spot in the rotation for the playoffs. There's still a chance J.A. Happ could be that 3rd guy in the rotation in the playoffs.
So you think it's going to be Cole, Liriano, Happ?
It possibly could. We'll have to see how Burnett pitches in his game. I'd like to see him go a little bit deeper than he has had in his past couple starts. And his velocity dropped a little bit in his last start as well. So we'll have to see how he pitches here tomorrow versus Jake Arrieta. Like I was saying, one of the best pitchers in baseball. And it's nice to see him again. They seen him once. They got out of the game without letting him get the win, so that they stayed in the game when Arrieta was in the game pitching, and now they get to see him again before the playoffs. They'll probably see him a 3rd time in that wild card if that's how this division turns out. So it's nice to see. We're going to see how the Pirates offense does against Arrieta tomorrow. I want to see the starting roster that Hurdle is going to put out there in that wild card game. I want to see that lineup tomorrow in this game and see how they fare against Arrieta.
Any chance if Burnett doesn't get the 3rd spot, he goes all Charlie Sheen and chucks a ball at Hurdle's head?
Who knows? He could.
He's crazy, dude.
He was pissed last time.
I'd be scared if I was Happ and I got the 3rd spot over him. He might get shanked in the clubhouse.
I don't think he's going to do anything to Happ.
Hurdle's fat ass, maybe. Put some tacks on his seat.
But look, there's still a chance they can get as close as 1 game back of the Cardinals before this Cardinals series begins. If they won tomorrow and the Cardinals lost tonight and tomorrow. I mean, that's probably not going to happen, but they could also fall as far back as 4 games right now. And really, that means you have a chance to win this division still, too. If you go in and sweep the Cardinals, you'd be 1 game back at that point. And there, like I said, there's definitely a chance you can gain 1 game in the last series of the season. So as of right now, no matter what, this series is going to mean a ton. And there's a possibility the Pirates do not have to sweep that series against the Cardinals. If they're within 2 games of them, all you have to do is win 2 of 3. But Pittsburgh, they finished with 3 home games versus Cincinnati. St. Louis finishes with 3 games on the road, which is a little tougher. But it's one of the worst teams in the National League in baseball. In Atlanta, they go. So you're thinking they're going to at least take 2 of those games, probably all 3. And let's not forget, Pittsburgh has troubles against Cincinnati, too. So although Cincinnati is a bad team, they got to go out there and win those games, the final series of the season, if they stay in it through this Cardinals series.
Man, Atlanta always screws the Pirates, so I wouldn't be surprised if they tanked all 3 of those games on purpose, because they haven't been trying to win for months. Stupid ass
I don't
Braves.
think they tank on purpose,
bet
but
you
I
they
could
would.
see him losing all three and trying to win those games.
They're going to start 3 single-A pitchers in a row.
I haven't been paying attention to Atlanta at all. I don't even know who is in their rotation right now.
Nobody.
I really
That's
don't
why
care.
they're the worst team in baseball.
I mean, they got some players out there. They still have Shelby Miller. Let's not forget about that. That guy had a good season. So
Got a girl's name.
Okay, man. But look, if there is a wild card game, we've seen Cole pitch in this series, the first game of this Chicago series. In Chicago, obviously, and he went 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 8 Ks, and a 3-2 win. So we know Cole can pitch well against the Cubs, and he's done it all season, really. He's 2-1 versus them, a 2.13 ERA, has 32 Ks compared to 4 walks in 25 and a third innings pitched, allowed 20 hits and 6 earned runs in 4 starts. So he's dominated Chicago all season long, and this is why I say Cole got to be that guy in the wild card game this year. He's pitching well right now. He pitches well versus Chicago. He's been your ace this season. I pitch Cole, although a lot of people are still arguing for Liriano, which, I mean, if it happened, I don't mind, but you got to go your best pitcher in this situation. And to me, this season, it is Cole. But Liriano, I mean, look what he did against the Cubs today. 7 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 9 Ks, and a 4-0 win. It's hard to argue against that. And look at this. In the Pirates' last 16 games where he started, they're 15-1. They're winning every game he starts pretty much. So if they went with him in the playoffs, I have no problem with it. And he was the guy that started that wild card game a couple years ago when they beat Cincinnati. So he's been there and he's done it before too. Now, he's had another start against Chicago this year and only lasted 5 innings and let up 3 earned runs, but just 3 hits and 2 walks, and the Cubs' batting average in that game was 158. The thing that got him in trouble was he K'd too many people in his game. It forced him out of the game early because everybody was going into deep counts. Look, 9 Ks in 5 innings. That's a little bit too much.
I heard some moron on the fans say that you shouldn't start Cole in the wild card game because he's not a true strikeout pitcher, and that's what you need in a one-game playoff. So Liriano should be the guy because Cole gives up too many ground balls, and if Pedro's going to be in the lineup, it'll cause you to lose. It's got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anybody say.
Not to mention, Cole leads the team in strikeouts with 201. Liriano has 200, though. They're both at 200 strikeouts this season. They strike out a ton of people. But Liriano also has something like 70 walks this season, where Cole does not walk many people at all. Cole is definitely the best pitcher on this staff. Although Liriano, I have no problem with him pitching in any playoff game. Certainly. And between Burnett and Happ, I still have to see. I want to see Burnett pitch tomorrow.
I'm going with Burnett.
But look, Cole would be on 5 days rest for the last game of this Cardinal series coming up, and that's on the 30th of this month. Now, the NL wildcard game is on October 7th. Okay, so that would be 7 days rest. Now, if they pitched him on the 2nd of October versus the Reds, that would give him 5 days rest heading into the wildcard game. I don't think you want to do that. I think you'd pitch him against the Cardinals and then give him the extra rest. But you keep hearing all the time that pitchers are creatures of habit. They love that 5 days rest. So if you don't line it up right, he's not going to have 5 days rest heading into the playoffs. But you also want to pitch him in this Cardinal series. So I am going to give him the 7 days rest until the next time he pitches. But that's just something to think about because, look, Liriano is actually lined up to pitch on the 2nd versus the Reds, and then that would actually line him up for the wild card game too. So you won't even have to change the rotation right now, and Liriano would line up for that wild card game, and Cole would pitch in this Cardinals game. That's just something to think about. I'm pitching Cole in every situation I can, but I'm just saying. But
he's young, dude. If his arm falls off, then he's garbage. So just
that's not
pitch him,
true.
pitch him.
That's just not true. You see young guys, their arm falls off all the time.
Well, I'm talking about in the next month and a half, dude. Just pitch this guy. You pitch him as many innings as you can pitch a pitcher. I'm not saying you pitch him every day, obviously, but you get him in the game. He's your ace. He's the guy who on your staff who can honestly, when he's on the mound, you're not worried. It doesn't matter who you're facing. You're like, okay, we at least have a shot. And I know you could say that about Liriano too, and I know everybody has their bad starts. But Cole he doesn't have as many bad starts as the other guys on the roster. He's just the best.
I mean, he might have as
pretty
many
cut and
bad
dry.
starts, but the bad starts just aren't as bad when they
Right.
happen, I think it is. But you also don't want to ruin this guy for the future either. You don't want to pitch him so much that next year he just doesn't look the same. And I mean, those things can happen. They do happen. Although Madison Bumgarner has looked very good this year after pitching a ton of innings last season throughout the playoffs and the World Series, obviously. But tomorrow's game versus the Cubs, that's a Sunday game. That is prime time on ESPN. And Monday and Wednesday's games against the Cardinals are both primetime games on ESPN as well. So there's a lot of prime time coming up for Pittsburgh because it's a lot of important baseball coming up. And not just important for the Cardinals and for the Pirates. I mean, this is important for baseball because these are the best teams in baseball right now. But looking at some of the numbers here, at this point in the season, the Pirates are 4th in runs scored in the National League with 677 runs. So they are one of the top offenses in baseball. You can't deny it. And they're only 11 runs behind Colorado and Arizona for the most in the NL at this point. I'm not saying they're falling off a little bit, but the Pirates have been scoring a ton of runs the past few games during this 8-game winning streak. So they're actually catching up here. And you remember the Cubs, they were right around the same number in runs scored not too long ago. But now the Pirates are up more than 20 runs over the Cubs at this point. The Pirates have let up the 3rd least runs allowed with 569. The Cards have let up 495 this season. The Dodgers 559. So they only allowed 10 more runs than the Dodgers. But the Cardinals, I mean, all season long, they've been way above everybody else. And in run differential, they're 2nd in the NL they're at plus 108. The Cards are at plus 127. So there's still a possibility they can catch them and be 1st in the NL in run differential as well. But according to the numbers, once the playoffs start, the Pittsburgh Pirates do have the best offense. Now, I know the Mets have been better the second half of the season. The Cubs have been better the second half of the season. Not better than the Pirates necessarily, just better than they were the first half of the season. But by the numbers, the Pirates should have the best offense in the playoffs, while the Cardinals, the best pitching staff, no matter who's healthy, obviously. They could get Wainwright back, too, and that could help even more. And a couple other things I want to see here. I want to see Marte get to 20 home runs this season. He needs 2 more for that. I want to see him get 30 stolen bases. He needs 1 more for that. A 20-30 season would be real nice. And really, he's their hottest hitter right now. McCutchen's in a little bit of a slump, and that's nice to see because they're on an 8-game winning streak, and McCutchen isn't even the one that's been helping them out the most. And a lot of people tend to believe that if McCutchen isn't hitting, the team isn't winning, but that's not necessarily true. They're kind of winning without his bat right now. And I want to see McCutchen get 5 more RBIs. He needs 5 more for 100 RBIs this season.
Whoopity-doo.
Well, he's never had 100 RBIs before, man. It'd be his first time he had 100 RBIs. Whoopity-doo. 100 RBI season.
It's not that impressive.
You gotta be kidding me, man. But yeah, that's it.
Albert Bell's had 100 RBIs in a season.
So the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to win this division. I feel it. They're going to sweep the Cardinals.
Nah.
They're going to put the pressure on the Cardinals. They'll be up a game by the time that series is over, and the Cardinals will have to sweep and hope the Pirates lose that last series of the season.
It's just wishful thinking. The Cards are going to keep on winning just like they always do. They'll probably take 2 or 3 from the Buccos.
You're dead wrong.
But that's all we got for you today, fans. You can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Keep coming back to YouTube and clicking subscribe and clicking thumbs up. Go Buccos!